In this video, we are pitting the Michelin Pilot Sport 5 against the Toyo Proxes Sport 2. We'll put them in a battle of wet, dry, noise, and rolling resistance to find out which tyre belongs to your sporty vehicle. Wet braking, the most safety critical test, because the problem is a small difference here have huge consequences. In this test, we are testing the wet braking distance from 80 km/h down to 0. And the scoring is simple. The shorter your wet braking distances, the better your tyre is. And this translates into real-life wet confidence and those extra meters that can prevent you from having an accident.
In wet braking, Michelin lands the first big hit. The Pilot Sport 5 stops in 28.3 meters, while the Toyo Proxes Sport 2 needs 31.4 meters. That means that Michelin stops 3.1 meters shorter, giving it around a 10% advantage. And in wet braking, 3 meters is not just a number. That can be the difference between stopping safely and still moving when you need the tyre most. In wet handling field, Michelin scores 7.2 while Toyo scores 7. So the Michelin feels slightly more control. Around the wet handling lap time, Michelin is also quicker. The Pilot Sport 5 completes the lap in 30.4 seconds, while the Toyo needs 30.9 seconds. That gives Michelin a small but clear edge in wet control. So on a wet road, Michelin is just not stopping shorter, it also feels more stable and more confident.
Aquaplaning, one of the most dangerous wet driving conditions that you ever face. Because the problem is, once you have it, you lose control instantaneously. So, in this aquaplaning test, we are measuring the speed at which your tyre loses control. The scoring is simple. The higher your speed, the better aquaplaning resistance you have. And why does it matter? Because higher aquaplaning resistance gives you more confidence in heavy rain and you go through water puddles with certainty.
Aquaplaning is where Toyo gets its first important win. In aquaplaning resistance, the Toyo Proxes Sport 2 reaches a slipping speed of 76.9 km/h. The Michelin Pilot Sport, on the other hand, reaches 75.9 km/h. That means Toyo has a small advantage when the tyre starts to ride on top of a standing water. It is only around 1% better, so this is not a huge gap. But it's still important because aquaplaning is one of the scariest wet road situations.
Dry braking, this is the baseline performance. Because the problem is, it's expected of every tyre to perform well in dry braking. And in this test, we are measuring the stopping distance from 100 km away down to 0, like this, here. And the scoring is simple. The shorter your braking distance, the better your tyre is. And why does it matter? Because a shorter stopping distance could be the difference between having an accident or avoiding one.
On dry roads, Michelin takes back control. The Pilot Sport 5 stops in 37.3 meters, while the Toyo Proxes 2 needs 38.2 meters. That's a 0.9 meter advantage for Michelin. The gap is smaller than in wet, but Michelin still stops shorter. In dry handling field, Michelin scores 7.2 subjectively, while Toyo scores 7. Again, Michelin feels slightly sharper. But the bigger difference is in lap time. The Michelin Pilot Sport 5 completes the dry handling lap in 29.8 seconds, while the Toyo needs 31.3 seconds. That's a 1.5 second advantage for Michelin. And for a sport tyre, that matters. It means that the Michelin is not just a safer tyre, it's also more responsive and more confident tyre when you push harder.
Comfort and noise is something every driver feels, but it's not measured properly because it depends on different surfaces. Today, we are measuring comfort and noise at two different surfaces. One is rough and one is smooth, to find out which one delivers the best comfort and noise tyre. The scoring, very simple. The higher the score, the better the comfort and noise tyre. And why does it matter? Because a comfortable tyre actually lets you feel less fatigue, more comfortable ride, and a quieter cabin. Let's find out.
For comfort and noise, both tyres are very close. The Michelin scores 7.2, while Toyo scores 7.1. So Michelin is only slightly more refined.
Rolling resistance, one of the most important factors when it comes to efficiency. But the problem is, you can't really see or feel rolling resistance. But there's a simple way to illustrate. We put two tires on the slope, both at equal conditions, and we let it roll down. So physics takes its role, so we're looking for the tire which can roll the furthest, which means it has the lower rolling resistance. The scoring is simple. And what does it mean? It means that a lower rolling resistance tire actually increase your battery mileage for your EV car, and most importantly, improve fuel savings.
When it comes to rolling resistance, Toyo has a coefficient value of 8.7, while Michelin has a lower coefficient value of 8.5. Since lower rolling resistance coefficient is better, Michelin has a small efficiency advantage. Now, we get into the category that changes the entire comparison. According to AutoBuild 2026 mileage data, the Michelin Pilot Sport 5 lasts 59,670 km. And the Toyo Proxes 2 only lasts 38,420 km. That's a difference of 21,250 km. Michelin delivers around 55% more mileage than Toyo. This is massive, because even the two tires feel close in some categories, tread life changes the real cost of ownership. The Michelin does not just perform better, it also lasts much longer. From my tire expert point of view, the Michelin Pilot Sport 5 is clearly the stronger overall tire. It wins in key safety categories: wet braking, wet handling, dry braking, and dry handling. It also feels slightly more refined, but the biggest reason I would lean Michelin is mileage. With a 59,670 km versus 38,420 km, the Pilot Sport 5 gives a huge long-term advantage. That makes it a better performance tire and a better long-term ownership tire. On the other hand, the Toyo Proxes Sport 2 still has strengths. It is slightly better in aquaplaning resistance, so if standing water resistance is your priority, Toyo still has an argument.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.